I've received a lot of strange emails from viewers over the years. Stories about shadows, voices, nightmares that felt too real. But this one stayed with me in a way I can't shake off. Because the sender didn't just tell me what happened, he sent the recording. A recording that, according to every timestamp and every piece of metadata, shouldn't exist. This story takes place in the fall of 2021 in a remote forest area of Oregon. The sender, who asked to stay anonymous, worked as a hobby wildlife recorder. He tracked owls, wolves, coyotes, any night sounds he could capture for his own small documentary videos. Nothing he had ever recorded frightened him until that night. He said it started like any other trip, a 2-hour hike into the forest, placing his audio recorder, a high-end device, on an old tree stump near a narrow trail. He left it running, planning to return in the morning to collect it. By the time the sun started going down, he was already halfway home. Then, at around 1:40 a.m., he got a notification on his phone. His recorder had a feature that let it upload live audio snippets to cloud storage every 30 minutes. Most of the time, it was just wind, owls, or silence. But the notification title didn't say night ambience or forest recording. It said, unidentified speech detected. He didn't think much of it at first. Maybe a couple of hikers passed by, or someone was camping nearby, but when he opened the file, he froze. There, in the middle of the forest, in an area he knew was completely deserted, was a voice, a man's voice, low, calm, almost whispering. At first you could barely make out the words through the wind, but the tone was unmistakable. Someone was standing right next to the recorder, speaking into it. He replayed the audio again and again, trying to decipher the words, but all he could make out was, "You shouldn't have left this here." He tried convincing himself it was just some random passerby, but the location was almost 3 miles off any marked trail. Nobody would be walking there at 1:40 a.m. He didn't sleep that night. He waited until sunrise, grabbed his backpack, and headed back into the forest to retrieve the recorder. What he found only made things stranger. When he reached the stump, the recorder wasn't where he left it. It was on the ground, facing upward, like someone had deliberately picked it up, held it, and then placed it gently back down. But nothing else was disturbed. No boot prints, no signs of struggle, no broken branches, just the recorder and the same quiet forest around it. He packed it and headed home, trying not to let paranoia take over. As soon as he got home, he connected it to his computer and opened the full recording. The earlier part was normal, wind, light animals, leaves. But then, around 2:14 a.m., the recording changed. The exact moment the recorder was lifted, the sound of hands brushing against the microphone, and then breathing, slow, deep, right next to the device. The sender said listening to it made him physically recoil. It was like the person was breathing directly into his ear. Then the voice returned, clearer this time. "I see you." A whisper so soft he had to raise the volume to catch it. He paused the audio, hands shaking. No one knew he was there. No one knew he would put a recorder in that spot. He didn't tell anyone about the trip. So how did that person, if it was even a person, know who the device belonged to? He kept listening. At 2:16 a.m., a strange distortion filled the audio. Static, but unusual static. Almost rhythmic, like breathing through broken speakers. Then the voice whispered again. "You're listening, aren't you?" He slammed his laptop shut as the sender explained. Something about the timeline didn't add up. These recordings were uploaded automatically to cloud storage during the night. But the 2:16 a.m. clip, the one with the whisper, did not upload. There was no timestamp in the server for that file. No failed upload. No corrupted entry. Nothing. It only appeared when he plugged in the recorder physically the next morning. According to the software logs, that section of audio did not exist until after the recorder was disconnected from the battery, meaning it was either added later or something recorded itself onto the device without powering it. He took the recorder to a tech-savvy friend to check for tampering. The friend found no sign of editing, no signs of external access, no glitches. The audio was raw, authentic, and impossible At this point, the sender considered throwing the recorder away, but said something in him needed to understand what happened, so he kept listening to the rest. The last 60 seconds of the audio were the worst. The forest was completely silent. Not a single cricket, not a single owl, nothing, just dead silence. Then, footsteps, slow, measured, circling the recorder, but these footsteps didn't sound normal. They were wrong. Too soft to be human, yet too heavy to be an animal, as if something was pacing around it, on legs that weren't the same length. Then the voice spoke one final time. But this time, it didn't sound close. It sounded like it came from inside the recorder itself, vibrating through the wires, a warped, broken whisper. Don't come back. The audio cut sharply right after. No fade out, no natural stop, just instant dead air, as if something or someone had turned the recorder off without touching it. After hearing everything, the sender said he never returned to that forest again. He didn't want to know what was out there, who or what picked up his recorder. He deleted the files from his drive, but he claims the recordings still occasionally reappear in his cloud storage, even after wiping the account. Same file name, same whisper, same warning. He told me he's convinced that whatever spoke into that recorder knew he would hear it, knew where he lived, knew he'd listen alone in the dark, and most disturbing of all, it knew the exact moment he hit play. If you enjoyed or survived this story, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications, because in the dark corners of the world, there are recordings, whispers, and things that shouldn't exist. And remember, the next time you hear a sound in the forest, it might already be listening to you. Stay safe or stay curious.